Our Kato FEF-3 completely locked up, so today we're tearing it down to fix it.
All right, everybody. So we've now moved up here onto the workbench out in the garage, and we're going to get started on the disassembly of this FEF-3 locomotive by Kato. So some of the key tools that I have here that we'll need to pay attention to, I've got two Phillips head precision screwdrivers, a 3.0 by 30 millimeter and a 2.0 by 30 millimeter. And then I've also got two sets of high quality precision tweezers, one with a curved neck and if my camera will focus, the other with a straight neck on the tweezers, just because I'm not quite sure where this dirt is at on this locomotive and I want to be able to reach any dirt that might be in there. As you can see, I've got everything laid out here on my modeling mat just to help give me a little bit of extra visibility for any parts that might fall off while I'm working on it. I'm also going to grab a small tub from my other toolbox over here. Right here, just a small clear plastic tub we'll put off to the side just to hold any small parts that come off of the locomotive, just so we can keep track of them. And then I will be using a cradle to hold the locomotive for me while I am working on it. I also, you can't see it, it's out of the frame, but I'll pull it down here. I have a magnifying desk lamp with a light on it that I'll be using throughout the video just to get a better view of the insides of this engine. Make sure we're doing the best job that we can with it. So with that, let's get started on the repair here. All right, so the first step to repairing this locomotive is going to be probably the easiest step, and that's just going to be taking the tender off of the back of the locomotive just to give us a little more space to work with. So it's just a simple tension clip on a bar that goes underneath the cab. So I'm just going to grab the locomotive itself and then the tender. I'm just going to gently pull. You'll feel it pop loose. It shouldn't take much. If you're having to pull more than just a gentle tug, you've probably got something wrong, and you just want to make sure that you're not damaging the pickups, because this particular model, the tender, I should say, is part of the power pickup for the locomotive itself. So we want to make sure we try to protect this contact point that goes into the locomotive as best as we can. So with that, I'm going to put that piece into our parts bin off to the side, because I don't believe the engine is getting power. It's just not wanting to turn. So that's why I don't think there's an issue with the power pickup. All right, now we've got the locomotive in the cradle for working on it. And we're going to get ready to start taking some of these drive wheels off of the locomotive. So the first thing I'm going to do is one part that's always given us a hard time is this front pilot drive wheel set, which is just twisted in there. We're just going to very gently, I probably should have taken this out of the cradle when I started this, but and that's why we got to be careful. Luckily, the axle just pops right into the truck itself once it's out. Figures when I'm carrying this or maneuvering it to put it onto the layout, it falls off without any issue, or without any issues for us. It just pops right off. We lose the little spring, which just fell off right here. Pick that up. So this little spring here has given us fits of trouble before, and my camera's not wanting to focus on it. I'll move it down closer to the that sits right on this post here on this front pilot truck. So we've put that into the parts box. Now I'm going to tighten this back up just to secure it a little bit better. And now for the fun part. Now we get to work on removing the rear pilot truck, which, as you can see there, is just a little tension clip as well. Goes right onto this little post right here that it's pointed out. So we'll put that into our parts box. And now I'm going to start with the 3 by 30 millimeter precision Phillips head screwdriver to remove this screw holding the truck drive assembly onto the locomotive shell itself. And luckily, these precision screwdrivers I have are magnetic, so it does hold that screw on there, which is very convenient when you're working with such small parts. Put that screw into our parts bin. And now we can remove this cover off of the drive wheels. Just a simple little plastic cover. That one screw holds it on, and these just pop off. And now we have one set of the drive gears exposed. So I'm going to have to move my magnifying glass down now so I can start trying to spin this drive gear and see if we can find the dust that's inside of it. All right, so now I've got you guys in a view where you're looking through my magnifying glass just to give you a better look at what is going on. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to show it just because I wanted to concentrate, but I was able to pull out the drive wheels and expose this gear right here. And as you can see, after cleaning it, well, it was spinning smoothly. You can now see that there's much more movement in that gear mechanism, thankfully. Now, just one little side note that I did find, we'll see how it affects it once I put everything back together, but this little brass bushing here that is basically used to hold those drive wheels in place, probably because we were trying to run it while it was jammed, but it did not come out as pristine and intact as, say, this one here or this one. It was a little marred up, but it seems to be, and it was also seated kind of cockeyed inside here. But I was able to pull everything out. I was able to get it reseated correctly. And as you can see, there seems to be much better movement now on those drive wheels. So we're going to work now on reassembling this. Luckily, there's really only one screw that we have to worry about putting back in here, which I'm going to get on here now. I may have to move the camera, so we'll be right back. Well, now that I've got the magnifying glass out of the way and the camera in a better spot, I can more easily maneuver this screw into position to put it back. Oh, I guess it would help if I held onto the screwdriver, but to put it back into position here. Now we can reassemble the rear drive wheels, if you remember me taking those off earlier in the video. So we will just clip that bad boy right back onto the post that it clips onto. Now we just have to put on our front pilot truck, which again, if you remember from the earlier in the video, this one tends to be the biggest headache that I have. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that post of my cradle just to give me some more room to work with. Gotta turn this at a bit of an angle in order to get the post to seat into the little slot. Right here is what it's going into, and as you can see, the post on this is a little T shape, so we just have to make sure we can get that seated into our, and there we go, there's that spring giving me headaches again. There we go, now it's seated on there correctly. Sorry if you didn't see that. That's just a very challenging piece to get put on there correctly. And now, last but not least, we gotta reconnect our tender. So we're gonna pick this guy up, making sure to support that front pilot truck since it tends to fall off fairly easily. And I'm just going to insert the tender rod into the engine. And again, just like when you remove the tender, if you're pushing and you're having to apply excessive force to get it to seat correctly, that's probably a sign that you've got it's not lined up correctly. So I would suggest just stopping and starting again just to make sure you've got it lined up correctly. The last thing you want to do, this locomotive is plastic. I'm going to zoom back out for you guys here. This locomotive is plastic bodied. That bar off of the tender that goes into the locomotive is also plastic. So trust me, it's far better to just pull it back out, regroup, and try again rather than trying to force it and risk breaking that tender tie rod, since the tender is needed for the power pickup on this locomotive. But we've got it reassembled now, so let's take it back down to the layout and see if we've got it fixed. All right, everybody, we've got it back on the layout. Let's see if our repair worked. Huzzah! I think we have it. Let's crank it up to speed and see if she makes it all the way around the layout. Well, I hope you were able to learn something alongside me today about train maintenance. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, see you down the line.